Welcome to the Marketing Mentor Podcast with Ilise, Benun, founder of marketing-mentor.com and author of 7 books, including The Creative Professional's Guide to Money. Since 2008, Ilise has been interviewing her clients and other successful professional creatives who are doing what it takes to stop the feast or famine syndrome, get better clients, and command the fees they deserve, and sharing the nuts and bolts of what they've learned so you can do it too. You can find more at marketing-mentor.com. And now, here's Ilise Benun.
What the heck is digital marketing? Do you have a definition? Is it internet marketing with those slimy get-rich-quick connotations? Is it online marketing, which is so broad it probably includes everything you can do online and off? Or is it something else, something more specific? That seemed like the perfect question to kick off my podcast interview with David Bain, who has a podcast of his own called Digital Marketing Radio. He gave some excellent definitions, and then we agreed on what is the best thing about podcasting. It was one of those things I had experienced but never thought enough about to actually articulate. But when David articulated it, I knew exactly what he meant. Can you guess what it is? This is Ilise Benun of marketing-mentor.com. And if you've been thinking of starting your own show, listen and then do something. All right, David, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Lisa. It's great to be on with you. Thanks so much for inviting me.
Absolutely. And begin, if you would, by introducing yourself.
With pleasure. Thank you very much. Yes. So I'm David Bain. I've been a digital marketing professional for, I guess, over 10 years now. A podcaster, probably on and off for about 8 years, actually. And I'm founder and host of digitalmarketingradio.com.
And let's begin with this question. What exactly is digital marketing?
Ooh, big question right to begin with. To me, I think there's a big difference between online marketing, internet marketing, and digital marketing. It's quite interesting, actually, because years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I started probably my first company and called it Purple Internet Marketing. And my first training course was called the 26-Week Internet Marketing Plan. But I don't like internet marketing quite as much now because it seemed to me, certainly over years, people were calling internet marketing essentially a make money online type product. And also, what you can do successfully online now is actually deliver content to people and have people read that content after having received it, but they don't have to be online. They don't have to be connected to the internet to read your content. So something like a podcast, something like a digital magazine can be delivered automatically to a user on their smartphone, on their iPad, whatever really, but it can be consumed offline. So that's why I prefer digital marketing now, because I don't think it's so tarred with the same make money online brush as internet marketing is. And also, I think it better reflects what you can do with content and other forms of marketing now.
Mm-hmm. And the definition then of digital marketing as distinct from internet marketing, which I agree with you, also does have relatively negative connotations. The definition of digital marketing used to be much simpler, I think, and didn't involve quite as many digital marketing tools, which seem to multiply infinitely. So give us a little overview of that trajectory, if you would.
Yeah, I mean, the challenge is it means different things to different people.
Right.
And it depends where you are in the world as well. I mean, for instance, search engine marketing to some people is just paid advertising. And to other people, it's an umbrella term that goes over both pay-per-click marketing and search engine optimization. So digital marketing to some people, marketing is interchangeable with advertising and means paid advertising. But to me, digital marketing is a term that encompasses both paid and content marketing, and also the tools that help you achieve that, such as marketing automation tools that we've seen a lot of over the last couple of years.
So the common denominator of all of the things that fall into this category you're calling digital marketing is what exactly?
Well, I guess it's the fact that at some point, the material, the content, whatever people are consuming, are delivered digitally. So over the internet to a web page, through a tablet, through a smartphone. But the challenge is now, of course, is that digital marketing really is marketing as well. So you've got to actually ask yourself the question, is digital marketing any different from marketing full stop? And it's not really, because generally a few years ago, 5 years ago, you could segment marketing and digital marketing, and perhaps as a function within an organization, you had your offline marketers and you had your online marketers. Now you've got digital marketers, or at least you have to understand digital marketing to be reasonably successful as a marketer nowadays. So I'm falling a little bit out of love with the term even digital marketing, because to some people it pigeons it as being solely online and nothing to do with offline. And integrated marketing is probably a better approach forward.
Mm-hmm. And within the realm of digital marketing or integrated marketing, I know that you have begun to focus on podcasting and broadcasting. So tell us about that realm.
Yes. When I started being involved with the digital marketing from a search engine optimization perspective, I built my own websites. I produced content for them. I got them ranked highly on Google, and I drove significant volumes of traffic back to my site from that. And I did that by writing unique articles and publishing articles which were maybe only 400 words long on these pages. And that was enough to position myself as being an expert in a particular industry, or doing something a little bit different to other websites out there. Nowadays, there are so many other competitors out there. So you have to do something fairly significant in terms of the type of content that you're producing to make yourself that little bit better than other people within your industry, or at least position yourself a bit differently. And what I think is that there are lots of different marketing methods, and you can't nowadays be an expert at everything. And probably the best thing that most marketers could do for their organizations is decide what form of marketing they're particularly passionate about. And also, hopefully, it's the type of marketing activity that could attach them to their target marketplace. But the type of marketing, the type of communication that I particularly love is podcasting and online broadcasting, online live broadcasting. That could be webinars, that could be producing content on a live broadcasting service like Blab, or perhaps even YouTube or Google Hangouts. I started podcasting back in 2006. I've done it on and off since then, but I started committing to it more a couple of years ago or so. I got myself a better microphone, a good setup, and committed to mastery, really. I think that nowadays marketers have to commit to mastery at their one particular chosen form of marketing, and that's my chosen form of marketing because I like to do it, and it feels right to actually concentrate and do a great job, hopefully, at that one thing.
And what is it about podcasting that you love?
I guess I like technology. So it involves quite a bit of that. If you want to geek up on the microphone and mixer and digital audio recording part of it. So I really love the technology putting it together.
And you do all that yourself?
I do, yeah. Funnily enough, actually, years ago, I also was a recruitment consultant for a while. So I was involved with interviewing people, and I quite like doing that as well. I'm not the kind of person that loves Periscope. or loves broadcasting just by myself. I'm quite comfortable recording courses by myself as pre-recorded courses, but in terms of live broadcasts, I probably prefer interaction. And I think podcasting lends itself quite well to that, to getting guests on your show and interacting with people and listening to what someone says and delving deeper into a conversation. So I really like trying to actually get more knowledge from something, from someone else, and perhaps through conversation with someone else, delve deeper into my thoughts on a particular subject as well.
And so would you say that's what makes a good podcast or a good podcaster?
I think a good podcaster has to be passionate about their topic, and they have to obviously produce adequate quality audio. You don't absolutely have to have the absolute best equipment, but I've certainly switched off from podcasters by them delivering audio that's not that great and maybe scratchy and not that reliable at all. So you've got to be passionate about your subject, and then you've got to have good quality audio. I think those are the two most important things. You don't have to be utterly knowledgeable yourself and your subject. I think you have to have an insatiable desire to find out more about it, and you can do that either yourself through a regular conversation with someone else or by interviewing someone else.
Mm-hmm. And that seems like a good segue to talk a little bit about digital marketing radio, because I find that it has a very unique format. And that, I would imagine, is one of the things you were referring to before when you said it has to be different, it has to stand out. So tell us a little bit about your format and your show.
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, digital marketing radio, I've recorded about 140 episodes now. And what I like to do is focus on a different topic for each show. So a different topic within digital marketing. So it could be pay-per-click, it could be email marketing, it could be search engine optimization or something else for the first 15 minutes or so in that initial conversation with an expert in that niche topic. And then the second section of the show, I play my little sound effects, because I have standard questions that I try and ask actually for that second section of the show. I'm just having a quick look in my iPad here that's connected to my setup, and I was just wondering if I can actually manage to get one of the sound effects out here at the same time as actually talking away. So hopefully this will come through all right. So okay. I play sound effects like this. So that wasn't actually quite as loud as it should have been because the volume wasn't fully up there, but you get the gist of it, hopefully. So the second section of the show has 5 different questions. Software couldn't live without, I wish I would have, this or that round, which is quite a fun round with a clock timer that people have to force them to answer these questions as quickly as possible. So it's kind of a fun section. I like integrating the live experiences into the podcast. I think that makes it feel a little bit more real and more natural. And I do it
like what?
Well, like doing my like doing my whistle sounds and my alarm sounds at the end of it, and different effects, but also the fact that I record it live in Blab. So I've been doing that for the last 4 or 5 months or so now.
All right, wait. For people who don't know what Blab is or have never experienced it, tell them.
Sure. Okay. Good point there. Blab is an online broadcasting tool that you can go to, and you can very quickly and easily, for free, simply conduct a broadcast. So broadcast your thoughts and interact with other people at the same time. You can have your own original show, or you can actually appear as a guest quite quickly and easily on other people's show. The nice thing about it is it's so very easy to use. You just have to click the call in button, and if the host of the show wants you to join in and will accept you, then you can join their show. So it's a nice way of actually hosting a show online without getting involved with technology too much. So what I was saying with regards to giving my show a live experience, as part of Blab, what you can do is you can get some live viewers, and those viewers will interact in the comments section, and you'd be surprised at the amount of live viewers that you can get, and the great comments that people will give. And then you can interact with those comments, and in fact, use those perhaps questions from people watching the show as additional questions to your guests in your podcast. And then you can record the show, and then that's where you can broadcast it for a future podcast episode if that's what you do.
And that seems like a good segue, actually, to the recent show that you did on Blab, where I was one of 54, I think, guests, where each person got, 2 minutes or 3 minutes to answer a particular question. It was, I thought, very well organized for what it could have been, how chaotic it could have been. Tell us a little bit about that idea and how it went.
Yes, that was a little bit mad, or great. I'm not sure which one it was. I'm still alive, so what I did was I decided to do a review show at the end of the year, and in fact, it was a bit of a prediction show for 2016. It was recorded just at the end of 2015, just before Christmas, and I invited every one of my previous digital marketing radio guests onto this Blab. And I didn't know how many people would want to come on, but 54 was a pretty good number. I'm glad it wasn't too much more than that, because then it was already past 2 hours in time. As you said, everyone was on about 2.5 minutes or so. And I think everyone actually showed up, which was wonderful as well. And we had over 400 live viewers. And over 1,000 people have watched it since then as well. So it's a great way of culminating a year of producing a podcast, and it's a good way of doing lots of things. Building further relationships as well. So it was a very interesting project.
2 more questions for you, David. One is, what advice do you have? Okay, let me start it this way. There's always, the latest thing everybody's got to be doing, the latest bandwagon you have to jump on. And at the moment, from what I can see, it's Snapchat. And I have not jumped on that bandwagon. And if you want to comment on Snapchat, I'd be open to just hearing whatever you have to say. But my question is, it also seems like podcasting is the thing everyone thinks they should be doing. And I'm not sure about that, because even though it's easy, I think it needs to be good, and that takes some effort. But what advice would you have for creative professionals, which is the people who mostly listen to my podcast, if they're thinking, 2016, I should do a podcast? How should they decide? What should they do if they do want to? What do you say?
Well, I certainly wouldn't say that everyone should be doing a podcast. I would say that you have to find the medium that you prefer communicating on. So if you prefer, perhaps if you're a graphic designer, then something like Snapchat or Instagram might be better for you. If you prefer writing, then you need to focus on blogging, or perhaps even email newsletters, or perhaps producing a digital magazine as well. But if writing doesn't appeal to you, and you're not massively creative from a graphical perspective, then perhaps you need to improve the art of speaking in public. And you can do that by doing regular podcast episodes. So it depends, first of all, on what you love to do in terms of the communications medium. And it also depends on where your audience is. Now, because so many people are podcasting now and listening to podcasts, it's likely that most audiences will be there if you do a great podcast. It's not going to be the kind of thing that will bring you hundreds of listeners to your first few episodes. Like anything worthwhile, you have to work at it. But there are lots of different benefits to doing a podcast. I mentioned that you can improve yourself as a public speaker. You can also obviously gain an audience, but you can also build relationships with the people that you interview as well, if you choose to do an interview podcast. And that by itself can actually be worthwhile you doing the podcast without actually having any people listening to it at all. Simply the quality of the relationships that you build with your interviewees can make it particularly worthwhile. So I think there are quite a few reasons for doing each type of marketing activity. As I mentioned earlier on, I would tend to just focus on a few and try and do it very, very well. I've registered for Snapchat. I don't really use Snapchat, so I can't particularly comment on best Snapchat marketing practices, apart from saying that I'm aware that it appears to be people in their probably teens, 20s, and early 30s that would be more likely at the moment to be using that service. So if your target audience skews a bit younger, then perhaps it's more likely to be the medium that's more appropriate for you.
One of the things I love about podcasting is it really helps me hone my listening skills, because you really do need to be a good listener. And I think one of the qualities I was just noticing as being a good guest, actually, you're an excellent guest, David, because you remember the whole question and you answer it.
I try and do that. I probably haven't done that all the time.
But I don't know. I just think there are lots of interpersonal skills that get exercised through this podcast process. And I love the point you made about building the relationships, whether anyone's listening or not, doesn't even matter, because I had never thought about it that way. But I totally agree with you that to be able to say, David, come and be on my podcast. And then that means I need to give some thought to what questions I might like to ask you, and then completely ignore my questions and ask you all other questions anyway instead. But really, kind of exercise again my curiosity. And we wouldn't, if I didn't have a podcast and you didn't have a podcast, we probably wouldn't be talking.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the fact that I got 54 people to come back on for this special show makes me think, well, if I'm launching a course or doing something else in the future, I'm sure I can count at least on some of them to perhaps help promote it, or even just do a little testimonial for me. And I'm sure that'll help me build my credibility within the industry further. And it will help me in my business in the future. It's difficult to quantify over the shorter term, but you just have to trust your guts for the ROI of some of these things.
So in a way, I think what we're saying actually is that podcasting is an excellent networking tool.
Yes, it is. Absolutely, yeah.
Right? And like networking, it's impossible to quantify the ROI.
It's very, very difficult, certainly. When someone says that, I'm always reminded of Gary Vaynerchuk's saying, when he's asked, how do you measure the ROI of social media? He always responds, how do you measure the ROI of your mother? It's, you know that, in terms of the value of the relationship, it's absolutely essential. But how do you know how much you'll need it in the future?
And actually, it's funny you referenced Gary Vee, because he's the one who sent a message yesterday saying everyone's got to be on Snapchat.
Yes, yeah. In fact, I saw him on Periscope saying that. Yeah,
that's his main message at the moment. Okay, one more question for you.
He is an investor in the firm, though.
Oh, good point. Thank you. Right, there's always something underneath it. One of the other things I think about podcasting is, or one of the reasons people continue to listen to certain podcasts and not others, and you referenced this also, is the sound quality. And one element of sound quality is the voice of the person. And you, I don't know why, maybe you've worked on it, maybe not, but you definitely have this beautiful voice with that lilt and that accent, and it just is so easy to listen to. So talk to me a little bit about voice in podcasting.
I am always listening to myself and thinking, oh, that's not so good. I could do so much better. And I've done, as I said, about 140 episodes of Digital Marketing Radio and other podcasts before that. And I think just about every single podcast episode I have edited myself. So when I edit podcast episodes, it gives me an opportunity to hear myself say and and stumble over different words as well. So that's a great learning experience by itself. So I'm sure I have experienced improvement in how I go about speaking based upon editing my own voice. So people think that it's a bit of a waste of time doing it, and as soon as possible they should actually outsource it. Personally, I like the technology, and I also like the fact that I think it makes me improve how I talk. So that's probably the main focus that I have in trying to improve how I speak. But of course, I wouldn't say that I'm anywhere near the finished article, and I would like to hopefully keep on improving at that.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. All right, David, thank you so much for your time and your thoughts, and give the people a place where they can find you online.
Okay, well, thank you very much. This has flown by, Ilise. So it was a great fun, great to be asked on your show. So thank you so much for that. In terms of where people can find me, I think probably the best place at the moment is digitalmarketingradio.com. And of course, if anyone's on Twitter, probably worthwhile giving my Twitter handle as well. That's just at David Bain, at David Bain. Thank you again.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thanks to David Bain of Digital Marketing Radio for his clarity, his ideas, and that voice. And if you've been thinking about starting your own show, then check out startyourown.show.com. This is Ilise Benun of marketing-mentor.com. And if you like what you hear and want more, go to the website and sign up for my new free course. And I'll be back again soon with more.
Thanks for listening. Now go try out what you've learned. If you like what you hear, you can go to marketing-mentor.com and sign up for Ilise's quick tips from Marketing Mentor and her free 30-minute mentoring session to get your burning questions answered. Check out what's on sale in the Marketing Mentor shop, like the Pick a Niche Kit, proposal bundles for designers and copywriters, and the 30 Minutes a Day marketing plan. Ilise is also the host of the How Design Live podcast, a programming partner for How Design Live, the largest design conference, and you can learn all about that at howdesignlive.com. Until next time.